Keep it going. Keep it going, fans. Keep it going.
Bullshit.
I'm going to let this play out, guys. I'm going to let this play out. What you just heard, guys, were the fans, booing, shouting bullshit. Those were the fans that were in the Golden One Center in Sacramento tonight for Hell in a Cell. And you know what? I don't blame those fans one bit, because what we saw in that main event, that was during the or after the main event. Fans were very unhappy with the results, and people were pissed. I, for one, was watching this. I was fucking pissed off. WWE pissed everybody off tonight because WWE had fucked up in the main event. And I'll get to that. Because WWE, at the end of that main event, should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed with a capital A. So, everyone, it's Michael again. Welcome to the Hell in a Cell review, or as I should call this, shit in a cell. Because this show tonight, this show was fucking shit. Started out good. It was a couple of decent matches, but as the show progressed, it just got worse and worse. Hell in a Cell, they only advertised 3 matches. And then WWE later on added another match that was made official on SmackDown on Friday. And that was Bayley versus Sasha for the... Bayley versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship. God. I almost said Bayley versus Sasha Banks. God. This fucking show. This fucking show tonight. So, it went from 4 matches. We had 1 match that was on the pre-show. And then we just had, 4 matches got added to the card. And they were just thrown randomly. These were unadvertised matches. It's like WWE took a hat, put sheets of paper in it, wrote, oh, let's see this superstar versus this superstar. And let's randomly pick it out, one by one. Oh, let's have Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali. Chad Gable versus King Corbin. Hey, Vince, didn't we already see this match before? And then Vince goes, just put it on there. We need to fill the card. So let's get on with this Hell in a Cell or shit in a cell review. It's from the Golden One Center, Sacramento, California. The only match that was on the Kickoff Show was Natalya versus Lacey Evans. A useless match that we've seen already. It was a boring match. Natalya ended up getting the win. Ended up locking in the sharpshooter on Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans ended up tapping out. So there you go. Natalya ended up winning. Useless match. Post-match, you had Natalya end up laying, a woman's right to Lacey. So to get payback for Lacey. That was that. A useless match. We seen Natalya and Lacey Evans before. And now we gotta see Natalya versus Lacey Evans again. We gotta see it again tomorrow on Raw. But it's gonna be a last woman standing match. So yay, we got something to look forward to on Raw. No. There you go. Natalya defeated Lacey Evans. Like I said, useless match. And then we had the regular matches. So the pay-per-view ended up kicking off with the women's Hell in a Cell match. Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. This was a Hell in a Cell match for the Raw Women's Championship. And in my opinion, this was one of the best matches of the night, in my opinion. This was a very entertaining match. Becky and Sasha gave it all they got tonight. And to be honest, this match was better than when Sasha had the match with Charlotte in Hell in a Cell. Of course, this is the second women's Hell in a Cell that took place. And, it was going all around the cell. There was a point where Sasha ended up suplexing Becky on the outside on, the ramp. And, the match never really got underway because of that. And so when they got in the cell, the match got underway. Becky ended up taking the chain that locks in, them in the cell. She ended up taking the chain. She ended up ramming it or punching Sasha with it. And there was chairs there that were being used, kendo stick. There was a point in the match where Becky ended up putting Sasha on the top of the chair. It was laying on like kendo sticks on two kendo sticks. And Becky just rammed right into Sasha. And it was a pretty cool spot. And towards the end of the match, Becky Lynch got the win. She ended up locking in the disarmer on Sasha. Sasha ended up tapping out. So there you go. Becky Lynch is still the Raw Women's Champion. And then you saw a post-match. Sasha looked like she was going to cry as from losing the match. And possibly because of this, since the draft is coming up this Friday, I wouldn't be surprised if Sasha got drafted to SmackDown. I mean, she did she did everything on Raw. So it's possibly that Sasha's going to be going to SmackDown, in the draft. But all in all, it was the best match of the night, in my opinion. Becky and Sasha gave it all they got in this match, and it made it really enjoyable, really entertaining, and I'd say this was better than Sasha's match that she had with Charlotte in Hell in a Cell, which was the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match that they had. So it was entertaining. And then we had Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns versus Luke Harper and Erick Rowan. This was originally going to be a tag team match, but then they changed it. They changed it to a tornado tag team match. And this was a pretty fun match. This was a very entertaining match. Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, they made a good team together. Thought they worked really well in this match as a team. And they ended up both taking out Luke Harper and Erick Rowan, the former Bludgeon Brothers. And a point in the match where Luke Harper was looking to take out Daniel Bryan. This happened on the outside, and Daniel Bryan did a Hurricanrana, and Luke Harper went off of the announce table, hit the floor. And then you had Roman come in and speared Erick Rowan, and they both went through the announce table, and it was a pretty cool looking spear that Roman hit to Erick Rowan. Kind of looked like that Roman ended up twisting his knee during that spot. But towards the end of the match, or at the end of the match, Roman came in. Luke Harper was in the ring. Roman ended up coming in. Superman punch to Harper. Daniel Bryan then ended up hitting the running knee to Luke Harper. And then Roman ended up delivering the spear to Luke Harper. Went for the pin. There you go. Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns won the match. Then you had the post-match. We saw Daniel Bryan. He ended up offering a hand to Roman. But Daniel Bryan ended up pulling it away when Roman tried to accept it. And, Roman wanted a hug, what it looked like. So Roman ended up seeming disinterested. And then Daniel Bryan ended up getting the crowd, to, chant yes, yes, because, should Daniel Bryan hug Roman? So the crowd was just chanting yes, yes, doing the yes chants. And then we saw Daniel Bryan and Roman hug it out. So thought that was pretty cool. I mean, them both hugging it out. They both deserve the hug because they did really well in this match. I thought they made a good team here. But overall, it was a very fun match. It was a decent match. Really enjoyed it. And like I said, Daniel Bryan and Roman made a good team together. Then we had Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was being interviewed backstage. Seth said that he's done a lot in his career, but he's never faced anyone like The Fiend. He says tonight is going to be the biggest test of his career. So that was the interview with Seth Rollins. Then we have Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali. And this match was done because Mustafa Ali was doing an interview on the Kickoff Show. Randy Orton came, and Mustafa Ali was like, oh, how about, we have a match tonight? How about we settle this in the ring? So the match then became official. So it was Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali. And the match itself, it was okay. Didn't love it, though. But, it was back and forth between the both of them. Mustafa Ali, he did decent here. Randy Orton, was very decent here. But there was a spot in the match where Randy Orton ended up hitting the RKO to Mustafa Ali, but Mustafa ended up blocking it, which was cool. Then, since Mustafa ended up blocking the first RKO, Randy Orton still managed to deliver the RKO to Mustafa Ali. So Randy Orton went for the pin. There you go. Randy Orton ended up winning the match with the RKO. And this was just a random match that was just put on the card. I know it was announced on the Kickoff Show, like I said, but they just put it on the show just like that. Because even though I said Hell in a Cell, WWE announced 4 matches, they were just, making matches that, we did not know was going to be on the card. They just randomly threw, matches on this card because they only have 4 matches that were announced. And it looked like WWE didn't even care for to do this pay-per-view. Like they didn't even think of, putting more matches for this pay-per-view. Like they didn't give a shit. They're just like, oh yeah, let's, put 4 matches on this card and get it over with. That was basically, I think, what WWE was doing, when they decided to plan the pay-per-view. But all in all, Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali was okay match, but like I said, didn't love the match. Then we had Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross for the Women's Tag Team Championships. This was another match that was unannounced until the show tonight. A lot of people did not even know that these matches were taking place because, like I said, only 4 matches that WWE announced for this card. So, Asuka and Kairi Sane, they haven't been on TV, in a while. WWE hasn't even used them. And, they were given shots for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Fortunately, they didn't, win. They didn't win them. So, here they got another chance tonight to take on Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. And the match itself, it was very meh, in my opinion. But the outcome of the match at the end, I'd say, it was long overdue for them. But Asuka and Kairi Sane end up winning the match. Because in the end, it was down to Nikki Cross and Asuka in the ring. Asuka ended up spitting green mist at Nikki Cross. Like what Tajiri used to do. Tajiri was famous for the green mist being spitted at, superstars' faces that he had matches with. That was Asuka, doing like that honor to Tajiri. So Asuka ended up spitting that green mist at Nikki Cross. And she ended up delivering a roundhouse kick to Nikki Cross. Went for the pin. So there you go. Asuka and Kairi Sane won the match and are the new Women's Tag Team Champions. And like I said, it was long overdue for them to win the titles. It's cool that they won it. I think they deserved it. All in all, the match itself, it was very meh, but I'm happy to see Asuka and Kairi win the tag team titles, the women's tag team titles. But very meh match. Then you had a 6-man tag team match. The War Raiders and Braun Strowman versus the OC, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, AJ Styles. Match itself, it was okay. Not great, not perfect by any means though, but it was okay. Strowman ended up doing, of course, his shoulder tackles like always on the outside. But the War Raiders and Braun Strowman got the win. They won the match by disqualification because the OC ended up beating down on Strowman. Then we saw a post-match. The brawl ended up continuing between the OC and Strowman and the War Raiders. And War Raiders ended up taking out the OC, Gallows, Anderson, and Styles. Well, I think it was Gallows and Anderson that the War Raiders took out. But Strowman ended up putting AJ Styles in the corner. and AJ goes for a springboard, gets knocked out by Strowman by a punch. Strowman then, laid his fist on Styles, ends up knocking out Styles, and we see Strowman end up standing over Styles, and that was that. Then we saw the OC, Gallows and Anderson, end up picking up AJ to the back because AJ was a little wobbly. So they end up carrying Styles to the back. Pretty much that was that. Then we saw the Street Profits, hyping up Hell in the Cell. And then we get the stupid Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title shit. And, I forgot to mention in the SmackDown review, they showed the DJ, Marshmallow. He's the DJ. And it showed him winning the 24/7 championship. It was on YouTube. It was on WWE's YouTube page. And, tonight we saw Tamina comes up. Tamina ends up pinning Carmella. So Tamina wins the 24/7 title. It's a circus. It's Jobber Ninja Turtle title, 24/7 title. Tired of seeing this on TV, on WWE TV, with this 24/7 bullshit. Just keep it on. I say this time and time again. Keep this on social media. Keep it on YouTube. Keep it on Twitter, Facebook. Keep this 24/7 garbage on there. Sorry about that, but I was saying, keep this 24/7 garbage on WWE's social media accounts. Their YouTube, their Twitter, their Facebook. Keep it on there. I'm tired of seeing this on TV. Then we had Chad Gable versus Boring Corbin, King Corbin. A match we've seen before. This is the third time we are seeing these two go at it. So before the match, Corbin got on the mic. He ended up saying that he's disappointed he had to face Gable again after he put The Rock in his place on Friday. And then he's just mocking Chad Gable, of course, with the short jokes. He ends up calling him Shorty Gable, which that's a reference to an article that came out saying that WWE was going to, rename Chad Gable as Shorty G. And that article came out maybe a month ago. So it's kind of a reference to that article, with Corbin calling Chad Gable Shorty Gable. So the match got underway. We've seen it before. Did not care for the match. Chad Gable, he was decent here, but we've seen these two go at it before. So the end of the match, Gable ended up winning, ended up rolling up Corbin. That happened because Corbin ended up getting the scepter. He was trying to hit Chad Gable with the scepter, but the referee wasn't allowing that. So Chad Gable ended up rolling up Corbin. So that's how Chad Gable won. But did not care for the match. We've seen these two go at it before. This was another one of those, oh yeah, let's put this match on the card, situation, because 4 matches, I'm going to keep saying it, 4 matches were announced by WWE for this pay-per-view. And all these matches were just thrown on there. Were just thrown on the card. For no reason. And no build. So then we had Sasha, Charlotte, and Bayley. They made their entrance. And then we get more 24/7 bullshit with R-Truth coming out. R-Truth's stalking Tamina for the title. and they were in the international commentary booth. Tamina ends up grabbing Funaki. She ends up using Funaki as a shield. Funaki and Truth end up squaring up. Sorry about that, but I was saying, Truth and Funaki square up. Tamina turns around, and R-Truth ends up rolling up Tamina. So there you go. R-Truth wins back the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title. This is like R-Truth's 20th title win with this bullshit title. Moving on. Then we got Charlotte versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Match itself, it was, okay. It was back and forth between Charlotte and Bayley. If Charlotte won this match, it's her 10th title win. So we had Charlotte going at it with Bayley, and Charlotte, of course, ended up getting the win. Figure 8 on Bayley. Bayley ended up tapping out. There you go. Charlotte wins the SmackDown Women's Championship. 10th, win for Charlotte with the title. And then when I saw Bayley tap out and Charlotte win, I rolled my eyes. I'm like, oh, great. They do it for Charlotte. But all in all, match itself, it was okay. There you go. Charlotte is your SmackDown Women's Champion. 10th title win for Charlotte. So then we had Chad Gable. We saw Chad Gable. He was being interviewed. Chad Gable ends up talking about how, you can call him what you want. But he shut Corbin up. And he proved that he is, in fact, the bigger man. So Chad Gable walks. He goes to leave from the interview. We see Corbin come out of nowhere and blindsides Corbin, just laying the forearms on Gable. Corbin ends up throwing Gable into the door and into road cases, and he ends up leaving Chad Gable laying there. And he ends up, laughing. Corbin ends up laughing at that, taking out Gable. And that was that. And then we had the main event. My God. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, versus Seth Rollins. Hell in a Cell match for the Universal Championship. So the Fiend's entrance, of course, second time seeing it on a pay-per-view. The first time we saw it was at SummerSlam when he took on Finn Balor. When the Fiend took on Finn Balor. Still, he came out with the lantern, the cool lantern of of Bray Wyatt's of his old character that he had. But that was cool to see once again. And I liked how the match looked. It was a different look where it had red lights throughout the match as you watched it. To capture it being like eerie and dark. I liked how the way they did that. I know a lot of people were like, oh, that the redness was like hurting their eyes and stuff and something like that. But I thought it was different. I thought it was cool. But it was back and forth between the both of them. The Fiend ended up looking strong throughout the match, which I really liked. And there was weapons that were being used, kendo sticks. You had a table. that was used. Seth Rollins ended up putting the Fiend through the table, and we saw Seth Rollins do curb stomps so many times. Many times he did the curb stomp. The fans were booing the hell out of him because the fans all wanted the Fiend to win this match. I mean, because WWE can't let the Fiend already lose, because the Fiend has become really hot for WWE, selling merchandise. Was a hot seller in merchandise, and it caught WWE with the Fiend. The Fiend caught WWE off guard. Like, WWE did not know that the Fiend was going to be this hot, with the merchandise and people loving the character. It caught WWE off guard, and Seth Rollins was still doing the curb stomps. The Fiend was getting up for them, and one point in the match, Seth hit the curb stomp, and he went for the pin. The Fiend kicked out at 1, and it was crazy. Then you had Seth Rollins. He was throwing ladder on the Fiend, and chairs to try to keep the Fiend from getting up. Then you see Seth Rollins go underneath the ring, and he retrieves a sledgehammer. So, Seth Rollins was going to use the sledgehammer on the Fiend, and the referee was like, "No, don't you use that. Don't use that. Just think of of not doing that. Please don't do that." That's what the referee was, saying. So the referee was like, "Oh, don't you use that." And then how stupid this is. Watch this. I mean, listen to this. Seth Rollins uses the sledgehammer. He hits the Fiend with it. And then the referee calls for the match. A Hell in a Cell match ends in a disqualification. What? There's no disqualification in a Hell in a Cell match. Now you're telling me that if they use a weapon now, later on in future Hell in a Cells, it's going to be a disqualification? What the fuck? It's like Vince lost his fucking mind. Well, he's been lost his fucking mind. But this is a new low. This is a new fucking low. How the fuck is there a disqualification in a Hell in a Cell match? Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. So the Cell ends up raising. Referees coming in to check on the Fiend. They try to back Seth, off from attacking the Fiend even more. There's a stretcher that comes out. They try to put the Fiend on it. The Fiend is on the stretcher. Seth Rollins is looking down at the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and then you see, the Fiend attack Seth Rollins, and it goes out to the outside of the ring. The Fiend ends up laying the Sister Abigail on Seth Rollins on the outside. And then we hear the crowd start chanting, "Restart the match, restart the match, restart the match." And, before, the ref, after the ref called for the disqualification, fans were booing. They were chanting, "Bullshit, bullshit." And you know what? I don't blame the fans. I don't blame them one bit for booing and, saying bullshit. And then, as the fans were chanting, "Restart the match, restart the match," the Fiend ends up pulling the padding up to expose the concrete. Fiend takes Seth Rollins, delivers another Sister Abigail, and before the Fiend delivered the second Sister Abigail on the outside, you heard fans chanting AEW, AEW. And I fucking laughed. I laughed like hell when I heard the crowd chanting AEW. So, Fiend delivered his Sister Abigail to Seth on the outside on the concrete. And then the Fiend ended up laying Seth Rollins out with a mandible claw. And this is the second mandible claw that the Fiend delivered to Seth Rollins. When Seth ended up looking down to see the Fiend, and I said, the Fiend ended up, his arm ended up raising. The Fiend ended up delivering the mandible claw in the ring. That's how Seth and the Fiend went outside of the ring. So this is the second time the Fiend gave the mandible claw to Seth Rollins on the outside. Well, yeah, Seth and the Fiend were on the outside, and that's when the Fiend ended up giving the mandible claw again to Seth, and it looked like Seth was bleeding, from the mouth, and then it just went black, and then the show ended. The pay-per-view ended. But what a stupid way to end the match. Fucking stupid. I can't believe a disqualification in a Hell in a Cell match. When did this become permanent? There's no disqualification in a Hell in a Cell match. So you're telling me now that for future Hell in a Cell matches, if a superstar uses a weapon, it's going to be a disqualification? Fuck out of here. Seriously, WWE pissed off their fans tonight. And you know what? It resulted in boos from the fans that I played at the beginning of the video. But after tonight, after what happened in this main event, WWE should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed with a capital A. Fucking garbage. Fucking garbage. Stupid way to end the main event. So anyways, that's it for my review of Hell in a Cell, Shit in the Cell. This show was so fucking shit. So thank you all for watching, and hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until next video, which tomorrow I'll be uploading my New York Comic Con vlog when I went to Comic Con on Friday, so be on the lookout for that in the afternoon tomorrow. Should be posted around maybe 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So I'll be posting it at that time. So definitely give that a watch. It's a really cool video, very cool experience that I had going to Comic Con. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow afternoon. And of course, the Monday Night Raw review tomorrow night. So until that video, I'll see you all later.